Well, hello, my friends. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor here at Samson Properties, to bring you another exciting episode of Marketing Mastery. So, in this session today, we're going to be talking about the unforgotten agent, why clients may choose someone else. And that always stinks when it does. So, let's go ahead and go through our slides here and share some words of wisdom for you. All right. So, to start with, you're not being rejected. It's usually not personal, although we take it personal. It simply comes down to you are being forgotten. And there is a great rule of the 3-7-27 rule. And that means they need to hear from you 3 times before they start recognizing you by face or your color branding, which is why we always encourage you to start in your Jumpstart session 1 is deciding on a color brand and a logo that you can get ChatGPT to help you design in literally minutes. They need to recognize it. There needs to be 7 contacts before they recall, oh yeah, I've seen her before. I've seen him before. I remember that logo. So it's 7 times they need to hear from you in writing for them to recall. And then 27 contacts of information going their direction before they're going to start trusting you as well. And yet, here's what the average is. Most agents will say, oh, I tried that a couple of times and it didn't work. You quit typically between the third, fourth, or fifth contact. Oh, because it didn't pay off. Nobody called me. Nobody responded. Well, let's go back to the basics, my friend. It is all about reminding them that you are still in business and you are there, not because you need a transaction, but when their home no longer meets their needs, you need to be top of mind. You hear me all the time use the analogy of McDonald's. McDonald's has been around forever. Everybody knows about it. You know exactly what you're going to get when you go there, but they still advertise because they want to be top of your mind when you decide you're hungry, thirsty, or need to get off the freeway. And are there other options there when you take that exit? Yeah. Are there other realtors in the around the town that they may also be hearing or seeing or knowing? Yes. So how do you stand out so that you are the one that they think of when that time comes that the home no longer meets their needs and they need to reach out? You need to be top of mind, and hopefully we're going to help you understand and how to build that portion of your business out. So here are the top 10 reasons why you are being forgotten. Often, number 1, it is inconsistent visibility. You show up and then you disappear. Clients assume that you're either too busy or you're no longer an active agent. Because I would venture to say that if we did a survey of a bunch of people and ask them how many people they know that at one point had a real estate license and that are now rode off into the sunset, I bet you everyone would have at least a couple that they knew that went in and then went out of the business. So again, you're invisible. You're not staying consistent with information that is of value to them. And as we've discussed in many, many other episodes and issues of training components, the who do you know, who do you know, who do you know is going to drive them crazy. And the who do you know that's thinking is even worse because unless they're psychic or psycho, they do not know what people are thinking. And you just ask them a question that their brain cannot process and cannot answer. So we know that doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't, never has, never will. So, but we've got all the other tools at your fingertips that work better instead anyway. Okay, so consistent beats inconsistent any day of the week. Weekly presence, but random bursts is not going to work. All right. So number 2, second reason is no clear personal brand. Now, this is why in Jumpstart session 1, if you haven't gone through Jumpstart, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to talk to you about what color branding you want to use. Go with two colors you like. I don't care how different or off they are. That's okay. You can learn to merge them into your branding. So when they see your face and see that color swash, they're going to know it's you and going to remember it's you. If I were to ask 10 people what you're known for, what do you think they would say? Most agents look interchangeable. And oftentimes it's like, well, I do this and I do this and I do this and I do this. Well, no, you're not Baskin Robbins. You don't have 31 flavors. You need to be very, very clear on what is your area of specialty. So we call it defining your lane. This is why in Jumpstart session 4, we go through the 26 marketing pillars that are available to you as a real estate agent. And then we ask, what are the ones that jump out that you can get excited about doing on a regular basis even when you're having a bad day? I'm talking bad hair day, broke a fingernail day, stubbed your toe day, don't feel good day. What are the things in that list of 24 that we cover in Jumpstart session 4 could you get excited about day in and day out? Here's a couple of examples. You got your first time home buyers. Those are great. And again, you spin off into do home buyer workshops. You got it. Downsize, luxury, local neighborhood experts. There are 5 types of buyers and 6 types of sellers. And I think it was 18 other options for you as well. So again, we've got to decide. Well, you've got to decide. I don't, you do. Which of those 26 marketing pillars you want to embed and engage in your business. Okay. All right. Next, number 3, you only show up when you need business. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. People aren't stupid. Well, we could argue some are, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today. But made you laugh. There you go. All right. So people, if they don't hear from you and then all of a sudden you're, back and you're shaking that tree, they know that you're looking for business. And people feel this immediately. And again, they are not going to buy or sell just because you're out there rattling the tree to see what's going to fall off. So when you are being visible out there, you need to think about your posts, your emails, your calls, is it transactional or are you just making noise? So we want to make sure that we're looking at that as well. All right, number 4 on the list of 10 reasons why you're being forgotten is no follow-up system. Yeah, this is a common mistake that agents often make is they run their business like a slot machine, not a vending machine. And we talk about that in Jumpstarts 3 and 4 as well. But it needs to be, again, I don't care which CRM system you use. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if you're using Bull Trails. I don't care if you're using Lofty. We have them both available to you here at Samson. I don't care if you just are using an Excel right now. I don't care if you've got it in Word right now. I don't care if you go, Lynn, I'm using Gmail. Can I build it out in there right now? Yes, you can. And then when you are ready, it can be rolled over into a better CRM platform that will do more for you and automate it a little bit better. But bloom where you are planted. I even have one agent, and I won't mention his name, but I laugh every time I think of this. He came to me, he says, Lynn, I only have a computer because I had to have one. I don't even know how to turn it on, but I have an assistant that does. I'm old school. I want to do it on index cards. And I said, game on, let's go. And we did. We set it up on 3x5 index cards. But that was how he worked best. And he dominates a particular neighborhood that he's in. But it's the not having that consistency of any type of CRM. I don't care where it's at. You lose track and you lose those touches. Now, let me throw out one other thing in there as well. Most of you, if I were to ask you if you had the birth dates of your past clients, and if you knew in a system somewhere, because you're not going to remember it, what month their transaction had closed on, I bet you couldn't tell me. Because I know when I was up and active, I couldn't remember either. But I knew I had a database that contained that information and it was able to feed me what I needed every day, every week, every month. And I stayed on top of it. They got their birthday cards. The kids got the birthday cards. They got the anniversary card if they were married. They got the anniversary of their home purchase as well. Those things need to be available and in some sort of system. Now, as a little bonus, you know that my website right now is the backup to Samson University and Cardinal Nest. I have on my site, lynnhamilton.samsonproperties.net, an agent resource center. And there is a tab called, it's the first one on the drop down. It's bonus handouts. I do believe I've got the concierge form right in there for you as well. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have this information, go get the concierge form and get it out to those past clients and take some time every week to build on building up your CRM. And that way you'll have a strong, powerful vending machine, not just a slot machine. Okay, now, while you're checking out my site, shameless plug, my website is nothing more than the Bold Trails account. So I want you to look at it and go, dang, this is impressive. But wait a minute, if she can do that, I bet she can show me how to do that as well. And of course, we have Will and our tech trainer, and he absolutely can walk you through adding a tab and adding drop-down pages. So it can be done. That's what I want you to think about when you're looking at my site as well. Okay, let's move on. Number 5 on our list of the 10 reasons you're being forgotten is you've got forgettable marketing. I learned this in marketing, and then I learned it as a second hit when I came into real estate. And that was just listed, just sold, and call me are generic posts that carry no memory and no weight. I would love to be able to wave the magic wand, bop you on the head, and take the just listed, just sold, and the call me out of your vocabulary. It does not build memory. Building memory with people, it's about the people, it's not about the property. And I know this is contrary to what many of you have been taught or have heard for years and years and years in this industry. I know, I get it, but trust me, there's better options and there's better ways. Okay, number 6, no emotional connection. People hire agents they like and relate to, not just those who are competent. You need to show your personality. You need to let your personality come out. You need to realize that you need to share a little bit about real life, not every little detail, but just about real life. You need to be human and not a corporation. Now, when it comes to emotional connection, again, I can't believe I even have to share this, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you're doing social media and any other post that's out there, you need to be respectful and careful of religion and political posts, because that can start a dumpster fire that you cannot control, and it can get out of hand real quick. I'm just saying, we've seen it happen over the years. Trust me. Okay. All right. Number 7 on our list is slow communication. Oh, dear Lord. If I had a buck for every time I heard a consumer or another agent say, well, I've called the agent and I haven't heard back from them, I just want to go stub my foot in the door. It doesn't take that long to respond. Even once, if you are taking your dear sweet time to get back to them, you lose your traction. If you are going to be in a training class all day, do a real-time voicemail. We covered this in Jumpstart Session 1 for you. You can leave a message. This is, hi, this is Monday, whatever the date is. I'm going to be tied up in some fabulous, fantastic training all day today. I'm excited about it, but I'm not going to be available to return my calls until after 5 p.m. There you go. Now they can leave the message and they know not to wait around with the phone in their hand that you're going to be calling them back in a few minutes. Let them know that you're tied up until after X hour, whatever that is. If you're taking the day off for a funeral, take the day off for the funeral and update your voicemail message to say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm paying respects to a dear friend that I recently lost. I'm not going to be available until after X hours. It's okay. It's okay. I remember calling an agent one time and they answered the phone and they were whispering. They were at a funeral. And I says, hang up. I'm hanging up on you. It can wait. That was not the time to have answered the phone. Again, I would have much rather gotten a real-time voicemail that said, today is da 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 da. I am out paying respects to a friend that I lost. I will be checking calls and returning calls after 4 p.m. or whatever the time is. But let them know it's okay. The other thing that is a pet peeve for a lot of people is agents will sometimes leave their voicemail full so that, and the voicemail says, if my voicemail is full, it's better to text me. Well, if that person isn't a texting type person, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them. You've got to be the chameleon and be available for them within reasonable hours and with some structure. But you do need to get back with them as soon as possible. Now, let me pause and throw in a side note. I get it. A lot of agents are dual career agents. Many of you cannot even have your phone with you in your place of work because of security clearances and whatnot. I understand that. But at least change the voicemail to say, I am tied up until X hour and I'll be returning any of my real estate calls after this time. I would much rather have you do that than to leave the voicemail full or leave the calls going to voicemail themselves and then you forgetting to check voicemail. Okay. So there you have it. There's another option. You need to set expectations with them and then exceed them. You under promise and over deliver. You don't do it the other way around. Okay. So there was number 7. Number 8 is no proof of value. You know you're good. They don't. But to gloat and to brag that I'm number 1 and I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread, that doesn't relate to them. Your testimonials are going to be worth their weight in gold. This is why, starting back in Jumpstart session 1, why does everything refer back to Jumpstart? I'm just thinking, because it does. We ask you to get your testimonials. Now, if you're using a third-party site to gather your testimonials, here's my 2 cents on this. I would encourage you to go in, do a copy and paste, save them into a Word document that you control. Gosh forbid something happens to that third-party site and it crashes down and you lose everything. I've seen agents lose their other stuff when the company's gone out, a program has disappeared, whatever's happened, and all of a sudden their stuff's gone. So do a copy and paste, keep it on that side if you want. Absolutely. I get it. But also keep it on your personal computer as well. That way it's backed up and you got access to them. This is also one of the top 10 things that you need to have on your website. Again, you are a business. People are going to check out the business every once in a while. They're going to go check out your website. Other agents are going to go check out your website. And if it's a boring, flat, just cookie cutter, they're going to know you're not putting a lot of effort into it. This is why we help you customize the tabs. I can help you. Will can help you. I know enough to be dangerous to get you started on some cool stuff on your website. Will is absolutely fabulous. He's in the field and he's your go-to source as well. All right, but your testimonials need to be on your website. And remember, when we teach you to do buyer and seller consultations, we also encourage you to have them there on your website and then grab the link from the testimonial page on your website, create a QR code that you then embed into your buyer or your seller consultation. You give a couple of examples of what it's like to work with you from the client's point of view, but then you say, if you would like to hear what others have had to say, feel free at your leisure to scan the QR code and go see what others have said. They're all listed on my site for you. There you go. Easy breezy. There you go. Before and after stories. Again, the best way to look at this is here's how you solve the problem. And this is where I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Joe Stump from By Referral Only specialized in neurolinguistics, and this was one thing that he taught heavily about as well. The before and the after, and how you solve the problem. This is why in Jumpstart, once again, we introduced to you the concept of being their advocate, their consultant, their realtor, and the PPS. PPS is a great conversation starter because they will ask, what does that mean? I am your professional problem solver. We used to have it, I used to have it on my name badge, my business cards, my email signature, you name it. I just didn't have it tattooed on me anywhere. But when you become the PPS, first off, it is a great conversation starter and it lets them know that there are probably going to be problems in a transaction and your job is to fix it because that's what you do. And you don't get shook over it. I still see agents sometimes today that they just go into absolute meltdown when something starts to go wonky in a transaction. I'm sorry, this business is full of wonky, but you just learn calm, cool, and collected. And I used to tell my clients, you can't freak out unless I'm freaking out. And you are never going to see me freak out. Now, if I needed to, I did it behind the scenes and nobody ever saw it. But I knew that my job was to solve the problem. So sometimes you have to stop and think, who do I need to go to get this problem solved or to find out more about this problem? There you go. That's what we do. So I would remind them to don't forget, I am your PPS. And yes, I researched this and solved the problem. All right. So there you go on that one. All right. So number 9 is an over reliance on one lead source. This is where in Jumpstart, again, session 4, we talk about it's important to have, and why don't if you call them a tire, a pillar, a post, whatever strategy makes sense to you, there needs to be at least 2, 3, or 4. You never put all your eggs in one basket. I'm also, for new agents, again, this is just my years of experience. I'm never a big fan of you relying on buying, and they're not leads, they're inquiries, let's call them what they are, from these various platforms. I have seen too many agents go bankrupt and out of business because they got tied up and caught up in a contract that they couldn't get out of, and those leads were not producing what they needed to. Now, on the other hand, I do know of several that do purchase leads or inquiries. They work them intensely. They have a system and a team that does it. And yes, in their case, it does pay off. But they're also investing a lot of money in order to get that. Most brand new agents do not have that as an option, which is why in Jumpstart session 4, we give you the 26 options. And then every Thursday at my 2:30 Master Your Marketing class, or Marketing Mastery, whichever we're going to call it, I take a new topic every week and we dig head first. Just dive right on into it head first with what works, what doesn't, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, why to do it, what not to do, and why, where it pays off, when it'll pay off. I hold nothing back. I'm going to give you everything of the good, bad, and indifference, and that's going to help you decide if that is an option or is that an avenue that you want to go down. Now, I always have to giggle. I had an agent one time tell me that they wanted to do an open house. They wanted to get 5 to 10 transactions a year from open houses. Okay, can it be done? Yeah, it's been done. But they only wanted to do one open house a month. I'm sorry, the numbers don't pencil out. You got to know the numbers as well. And that's also what we cover typically on these Thursday sessions as well for you. So again, you've got to know the numbers and don't rely on one lead source. Do not put all your eggs in one basket, because a car will go a lot further and a lot faster with 4 tires fully pumped up than 1 tire and 2 flats. There you go. My words of wisdom for the day. All right. So mistake number 10 is not asking for business. A lot of times agents, we weren't taught this in kindergarten, and we sure didn't cover this in real estate trainings when we were prepping to get our license, but we were never taught how to ask for business. So we've got, the let's meet for coffee. and the tie down conversation that works brilliantly. And it's not always going after them to say, hey, are you ready to buy or sell? No, it's someday, or you can use the word eventually, you or someone is going to need some help with something real estate related. May I ask you a question? And they'll say yes. When that day comes, are you comfortable introducing me to them so I can go in and interview with them and see if I'm the right match for them? That's an easy one to learn. We cover it in various previous sessions. And yes, it does work beautifully. So there you go. There's that one. So visibility plus consistency plus connections equal being top of mind. So let me ask you a question. If the people that you know, needed an agent today, would they think of you? Would everyone that's in your database that you claim you've got these numbers, would they think of you? I'll let you answer. All right, but the better question is, if they needed you today, are you ready? Do you have your buyer and seller consultations down to a pat? Do you have them prepped and ready to go? Do you know how to use SkySlope for your forms? Do you know how to use Real Scout for, letting a buyer search for property? Do you know how to use the couple tools in Core Present that's tucked away in Bold Trails? Do you know how to use those? Do you know how to use Zillow Showcase if you're taking a listing? Do you know about the tools that are at your fingertips that you're not even having to pay for them? You are being given them free of charge. Thank you, Samson, and thank you, Cardinal, because that's where it comes from. But my question to you is, if a client called you 2 seconds after we got off this training and said, hey, I just won the lottery, I need you to come list my house and I need to buy in 2 weeks, are you ready to go? Do you have your buyer consultation ready, your seller consultation ready? Are you comfortable with these other tools that you will need to have quick access to? Or are you going to scramble and go, I don't know how to do this because yeah. Mm-mm. So you need to be ready when they come. It's like, think about the emergency room at at a hospital. That doctor has prepped and prepped and prepped and prepped and prepped and prepped and prepped. And when you roll into the emergency room, they don't know you're coming, but they are ready to handle what needs to be taken care of. They're there to save your life. You, as a real estate professional in this industry, you are being asked to help somebody with the biggest financial purchase of their life. You don't have the right to mess it up. So good thing there's not more loss. I was going to think of a name and now I can't remember what it was. Anyway, you get my point. Be prepared, be ready, be proud of this industry, be proud of what you do, be ready. So when you get that call, you're able to stand high, head up, shoulders back, and say, I'm ready to take on the task. All right. So with that, my friends, that is going to wrap down this particular session of Why Am I Being Forgotten? There's your 10 reasons right there. Go back and re-listen to this. This will be posted up on my website here in a few minutes. And with that, there's a handout that'll go with it as well. But re-listen to it. This is a great one to listen to in the car. And just kind of refresh. Am I doing these things? Am I not doing these things? Am I ready when that phone rings? And will I answer the call? And speaking of which, let's talk about your emails for a minute. Lately, I have been making the rounds and been asking agents, so how many emails do you have in your inbox? I'm about ready to go into cardiac arrest. I'm talking hundreds, I'm talking thousands, I'm talking 50,000, I'm talking 75,000. There was one agent had 129,000 unopened emails in her inbox. And we were discussing keeping current matters. That's another tool you need to know about. And she says, oh, I don't know about that. But yet she just told me she was a full-time agent. And I went, but you've gotten multiple emails. I said, open your email box. Let's go see. sitting in there unopened was 129,000 unopened emails. I said, well, I'm going to lay you odds. It's right there. So we went to the top of the search box. We typed in keeping current matters and there they were, every single one of them unopened. And I just looked at her and I said, really? You're wanting someone to trust you with the biggest financial purchase of their life, and you don't know how to manage the emails in your inbox? So know your tools, but also know how to run the business. We are here to help. We have seen it all. And here at Samson, you have the best, the best, the best, the best. No questions asked. Training, support, and guidance that you could ever ask for. So on behalf of my little cardinal friend and I'm going to say thank you for joining me for this session. If you do watch it on replays, make sure that you like it and subscribe. That way you can get notified when I do my next post. And with that, go be awesome. Go be wonderful. And remember, I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. I'll see you in the next class. Bye for now.